The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 5 minutes. Follow the show on Spreaker.com or the Spreaker app and be a part of the show via the live interactive chat room. You can text your thoughts to 404-902-8104. Check out the Facebook live stream at facebook.com/OneMic with Big Mike. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 4 minutes. Follow the show on Spreaker.com or the Spreaker app and be a part of the show via the live interactive chat room. You can text your thoughts to 404-902-8104. Check out the Facebook live stream at facebook.com/OneMic with Big Mike. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 3 minutes. Follow the show on Spreaker.com or the Spreaker app and be a part of the show via the live interactive chat room. You can text your thoughts to 404-902-8104. Check out the Facebook live stream at facebook.com/OneMic with Big Mike. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 2 minutes. Follow the show on Spreaker.com or the Spreaker app and be a part of the show via the live interactive chat room. You can text your thoughts to 404-902-8104. Check out the Facebook live stream at facebook.com/OneMic with Big Mike. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 1 minute. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 30 seconds. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts in 5, 4, 3, 2.
One mic.
I'm back.
It's the One Mic with Big Mike show. Live.
There ain't no goddamn tape.
Interactive and on demand. One Mic. Yeah, a sports show.
The best move of LeBron's career, man, was dragging his sweaty ball sack right across Draymond Green's the nape of his neck and getting that dude suspended.
And so much more.
What's going on right now with Donald Trump? This is America, and it tickles me to death when white people are so shocked and appalled by it.
What? It's the One Mic with Big Mike show.
Of course, it's like anything, like ammonia or you sniffing glue is gonna get you high.
You've been warned. The One Mic with Big Mike show starts now. Here he is.
He's real cocky. He's real loudmouth. He's real flamboyant. He don't cow down to people.
Big Mike.
Yeah, man. You know what it is. Welcome into the One Mic with Big Mike show, the Hump Day. The Hump Day edition of the One Mic with Big Mike show. Appreciate you guys for checking in, joining me today. Don't forget, the show is being heard right now live on Spreaker.com, Spreaker.com. So make sure you share that information with your friends, family, your foes, everybody, man. Also, tell them to download that Spreaker app. You can also catch me on the TuneIn app and my website, OneMicWithBigMike.com, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, starting at 7 o'clock. Also, streaming live video on Facebook. My Facebook page is One Mic with Big Mike at the number 1, MICWITHBIG. MIKE. Use that same handle for my Twitter and my Instagram as well. So make sure you give me some likes on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. If you like to get involved in the show, you want to conversate with your boy, you want to get some thoughts off, whatever, or some shots off, you can text them to 404-902-8104, 404-902-8104. You can also leave them right below the live streaming video, and I'll check them. I'll check the comments or whatever periodically throughout the show, or you can do like my man, Big L. Big L's in the building early. What up, homie? Heard you had a birthday the other day, man. Happy belated. Big L's in the chat room, man. If you guys want to join him in the chat room, quite simple. Go to Spreaker.com, Spreaker.com, or like I said, download that Spreaker app. And when you start listening, that's if you're not listening there currently, that little thought bubble icon, make sure you click on that. That'll get you inside the live interactive chat room. I also suggest, man, you got to sign up for your free Spreaker accounts as well, so that when the situation goes live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you get an alert, let you know it's time to rock and roll. Also, while you're clicking things, click the little heart icon as well, so that, you know, we understand that you like the show. Even if you don't, lie to me and tell me that you do. And also click those little share icons as well. Share me with your friends and people on social media, your Twitter, your Facebook, and I think the other one is Google Plus or whatever they have. So those 3 icons, you'll see them on there. Just click on them so you can share the show with everybody. I'm trying to get my weight up, you know what I mean? Trying to get my numbers looking a little bit better. They looking good, but, you know, I want them to look like crazy and stupid. As far as today's show go, at the bottom of the hour, I told you guys about this on Monday. My man Rob Grimwood from Fantasy Football 24/7, he's going to join me at 7:30 because guess what? The One Mic with Big Mike Fantasy Football League drafts this weekend, this Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, NFL.com Fantasy Football League. I feel lightweight proud about this situation, man, because I wasn't sure if my situation was going to get filled up, and to the point where people are still asking me to get into the league. And guess what? I'm proudly telling them that, yo, it's filled up, man. I told you guys hurry up and sign up, but you didn't do it. So guess what? Too bad. Then at the top of the hour, whereas we have a guest at 7:30, we'll do On This Day, where I take a look back into the annals and the history of sports and give you guys some little factoids and tidbits on some things that happened on this particular day in sports history. We'll do that at the top of the hour. So as far as today, we got to do our update on Hurricane Harvey, of course. Not going to leave that out. We'll probably start with that, as a matter of fact. But then we got to get into some NFL stuff. Another quarterback got paid, and people lost their minds again. It's like Pavlov's dog, man. Like, you hear about a quarterback getting crazy money in the NFL, and everyone has to, like, either justify it or dismiss it, or he's not. We'll get into it. The Celtics-Cavs deal that we talked about last week still ain't done. And the Cavs want more. And college football starts tonight, man. Where does Lane Kiffin coach? Florida International? Is that where? Because that's who's playing tonight. That's one of the teams that are playing tonight, and that's probably the only interest I'll be taking in any college football tonight. They play UCF. You know what? Does UCF have a corner with no hand? Who is that? One of those teams in Florida has has a cornerback that's hella good too, like the defensive player of the year, that doesn't have a hand. Shout out to him for that, man. So, it's football, man. It's college football, and I'm a liker of college football, so I'm a partake. Big L, are you protesting, boycotting college football as well, Big L? Because Big L ain't watching no more NFL because Kaepernick has yet to be employed by an NFL squad, and the way it's looking, it's not going to happen. So my man Big L is done with NFL football. So I'm wondering if he's going to check out the college situation this year. Speaking of all that, that's part of what I want to talk about tonight, because I read some articles today that were very interesting, and on the back of my conversation on Monday with my man Jeff Pope, something that hasn't really, it's kind of come up sparingly, the prospect of the college kids finding their voice more and more, and possibly joining this protest, especially in wake of what we saw a couple of weeks ago in Charlottesville. And I saw some very intriguing articles on this situation, and I want to talk about that today. I want to kind of delve into that a little bit. Let's see what else we got here, man. I got some crazy stuff. Ezekiel Elliott's appeal hearing started yesterday, and my man Harold Henderson has until Tuesday to get it all situated, which I don't think that's cool, man. Like, with something like this, to have to rush it, because if he doesn't get it done, if he doesn't get a ruling in by next Tuesday, end of day next Tuesday, or is it noon next Tuesday, something like that, man, he's got to let Ezekiel play, and so they're gonna rush through it, and it's, I don't know, the process is whack. Like, a lot of people think that because I'm speaking on this matter the way I am, I'm like on Ezekiel Elliott's side or something. I'm not. I don't know, because I don't know what happened. It's his word against hers. She's saying he did. He's saying he didn't. Somebody's saying that she asked them to lie for them. He's saying, yep, she's lying. So, yeah, you know what I mean? I'm not on anybody's side. I just think the NFL's process is stupid to the point where they feel like they can go above and beyond the law. When, hold on, dude, you don't have no subpoena powers. You know what I'm saying? Like, if this girl lies to you, what are you going to do to her? You're not going to charge her with something. So it's ridiculous. It's in her best interest. Like, there's all gain and no loss to her for lying to you. Like, you can't charge her with filing a false report. The police can. You can't. The NFL can't. It's just the process in and of itself is whack, and they put themselves in this position to where now they have to be the domestic violence police, which obviously isn't working. I mean, it's like, it's not changing anything. It's not even changing the perception of the league, which is, I think, was the ultimate and main goal. But whatever. And KD may have killed Under Armour. Kevin Durant may have killed Under Armour. So I'll talk about all those things at some point during the show. But let's start with the situation that's still going on right now in Texas, around the Houston, Texas area. Last I checked, about 20 people dead at this point, man, from the horrible natural disaster that's going on in out there in Texas. And y'all know me, man. I'm not a dude. I don't subscribe to religion, and I don't mess with all that. And these are the times that make me even more sure of why all that is crap. You know what I mean? Like, you got people on one side saying this is God punishing so and so and so and so, and I'm like, well, that sounds petty. Somebody says God punishing Texas because Trump won Texas. I'm like, come on, B, that can't be a thing, right? Because there's babies down there that can't even vote, that's hungry for days, hiding addicts from rising water levels. Like, that can't be a real thing. If this imaginary person or imaginary being is what you say it is, this can't be that, right? And then you got the other people that's like, oh, we gotta pray for Texas. No, you having private thoughts or talking to yourself is not helping these people any. You know what I mean? You can stand on the power of prayer type situation. Well, if prayer had that much power, I'm sure plenty of people was praying that this hurricane didn't wipe their whole existence out, but it happened anyway. You know what I'm saying? At the very end of the day, man, people need substantive things. God, if I can get it out my mouth, right? They need clothes, they need food, they need diapers, they need money. You know what I'm saying? I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I can't do all those things. I can take some clothes and hope they get shipped there. But I can also, I mentioned this on Monday's show, right? You can just call 1-800-RED Cross. You can give a monetary donation that way. You can also text Harvey, Harvey, to 90999. This is the American Red Cross. Not like some idiot on Facebook said to me the other day, like, yeah, I'm sure when you text Harvey, it's going to go straight in Harvey's pocket. I'm like, come on, B. Like, the skepticism of people is amazing to me in a situation like this because, and maybe it's because I've actually spoken to someone. I mentioned this on Monday again. 12 years ago, this lady actually broke it down to me, a lot of things to me about how she had nothing anymore. She was here in Atlanta, getting away from Hurricane Katrina, and she was like, me and my family have nothing. We had to leave everything we ever had where it was and come here. And to that point, I can't even, like, even she's telling me this, I can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine having nothing. Because like I said, you know, I'll keep going back to Monday's show, but if my house catches on fire, at the very least, when someone's house catches on fire, like if you got a job and then, you know, the American Red Cross puts you up in a hotel or whatever, wherever your living arrangements, however they change, like you can go back to work the next day and start making, or next week or whenever, and start making more money to at least try to rebuild your situation. When your town flood, your whole city is flooded, that's everything. Your schools is flooded, your libraries, your jobs, the grocery store, everything is flooded. So you're literally, if you stay there or if you leave there, you building from the ground up. And the least I could do, you know what I'm saying, is come off a little $10, $20. That is literally the least. But then what you got is people comparing their issues. Man, my car outside, I can't even get my car to start, man. I can't be giving my money away. It's like, because that $10, that's going to be the difference between your car getting fixed or not. Come on, man. Let's be real. You just don't want to. And then this is my problem with like the religious sector, because what you'll do then is justify not really helping by saying, you know, I believe in the power of prayer. I'm just going to pray for them. Come on, man. That's weak. That's weak sauce, man. Like, pray all you want to. Like, I'm not here to knock nobody's belief and all that, but understand, like, I may be a heathen, but I understand, but I've been in church my whole life, my whole young life, and been in plenty of them. Methodist, Baptist, Catholic, what's the other ones? But they like to put hands on you. What is it? Y'all know what I'm talking about. The ones where they shout all the damn time. Yeah, so I know what's in that book. And it talks about faith without works. Done it? It's like, I mean, it's just so hypocritical, man. Like, and I always, you know, as the older I get, man, the more empathetic I become to just human beings, just people, man, just people and people suffering, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to be threatened with the prospect of going to hell. You know what I mean? Like, you got to do good or it's going to go to hell. Nah. First of all, it doesn't exist. And second of all, why not just treat people like people? Why not just do that? Why not just not be an a-hole for the sake of not being an a-hole? How about we just do that? You know what I mean? You don't have to threaten me with this burning pit of fire for me to do right by another human being. It's just so weird, man. We talking 10 funky ass dollars. And I'm also sure, by the way, for the people who for $10 is too much, JJ Watt has a situation going on his Twitter and on his social media situation. He's collected almost $6 million. I think it's over $6 million now. He's going for 10. He started out with a goal of $200,000, not realizing, I guess, that he's JJ Watt. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, I'm gonna start shouting real quick. Hopefully I make it. Yeah, in like 5 hours he had a $200,000. So now he's up to like $6 million. So he's taking donations as small can be, or as large can be. So if you like, oh man, I can't come off this $10. I won't be able to eat for a month. You can give $1, man, because it's not you doing for somebody. It's the collective. You know what I'm saying? It's the collective that's doing for all the people that's down there. What up, I am No Dose? He's in the building. That cat's he's in New Orleans. I tweeted him the other day to check on it because I didn't realize the storm hadn't really moved all. Y'all probably just got a little bit of rain. Like we getting some right now, a little bit of rain. But I figure at this point, New Orleans kind of missed. Thankfully, New Orleans kind of missed this one. Big L's in the chat room, by the way. You guys can join him in there. Go to Spreaker if you're listening via TuneIn on my website. Or no, I'm sorry, on the website as well. Go to Spreaker on my website. You'll see a little thought bubble icon on the streaming player. Just click on it. You'll be in the chat room with my folk here. Big L said he's watching college football. Yeah, the kid from FSU is at FIU. So yeah, that's Lane Kiffin School. And then I am No Dose is saying, yeah, from personal experience, a whole city wiped out from flooding. It's crazy. Yeah, man. Yeah, and here's the other thing I want to talk about too. There's a lot of things that are going on that people aren't going to understand. And fortunately for me, somebody, the same young lady I spoke about, gave me some perspective on something, man. Because some crazy things that happen, and you'll see them from afar and be like, "What the hell?" Because we're hearing about people shooting at the first responders, or people, trying to come up on home invasions and things of that nature. And that's not to be excused any, but there is a certain perspective to be had. And I remember bringing this up 12 years ago, man, standing outside of Kroger. And the lady I was talking to, she was like, "Baby, if you've been stranded on the bridge for 4 days with no food and no water, you bound to do some crazy things too." And I was like, done. I can't, what I'm gonna say about that? Cause I don't know that life. I don't know what that is. Cause remember during Katrina, we was tripping. Cats was walking in waist high water, still in flat screen TVs. We was like, what the hell are these dudes doing? Well, yeah. You know what I'm saying? When you run around in stink ass water, you ain't ate. You know what I'm saying? You ain't had no water. You ain't drank no water. Your mind can start messing with you. You know what I'm saying? It's not to say that those folks weren't already criminals or weren't already, dumb criminals, but you can see where that would heighten that that part of your personality in a certain way. For the sports fans amongst us, that's everybody. Big L, I know though you don't care about this either because you guys are boycotting. The NFL blackout is real here on this show, kind of. The Texans-Cowboys game for tomorrow has been canceled. The Rangers and Astros are still playing in Florida, which is like a wild thing because they could have actually postponed the situation because it's baseball, right? You go out and you can play doubleheaders and all this kind of stuff. But the Rangers was like, F y'all. They was like, we in a pennant race, cuz, and if we push this series or we move this series, that means we're gonna be on the road for 12 straight series or 12 straight games or something like that. It's not time for me to start paying attention to baseball yet. Labor Day is my day. Start paying attention to the pennant races and all that kind of stuff. Before that, this is just one long exhibition season until, you get to watch guys like Giancarlo Stanton hit home runs and the kid Aaron Judge and all these folks do what they do. But I can do that through highlights. I had to watch no games. I had to pay attention to no standings and all that. But after Labor Day, moving into the playoffs, I'll start paying attention a little bit more. I forgot to mention, for those of you who are playing fantasy football, if you're listening to me right now, you can get your questions in from my man Rob Grimwood. If you got some lineup questions or some guys that you may have picked, or maybe some injury questions, I'm gonna be asking him about like fantasy football strategy, draft strategy in that situation. You can text your questions to 404-902-8104. You can place them inside my live interactive chat room, or you can leave them as comments below the live streaming Facebook video here on my Facebook at the number one MICWITHBIGMIKE. Had a little bit of a brain fart there. And the other funny thing that happened overnight was going back to the religion thing, right? Your man, Joel Osteen, everybody's favorite Motivation Monday quote man. Yeah, you see these people who post these, who like put the Motivation Monday quotes, and it's usually by like T.D. Jakes or Joel Osteen. Well, apparently my man was like, ooh, it's flooding, huh? Yeah, we can't have these folks up in here, though. Not in my church. And then Twitter found out about it. Twitter and Instagram and Facebook found out about it. And what do you know? The doors of the church are now open. And then I get up this morning, I pop on CNN or whatever it was, MSNBC. First thing I see this morning, this dude lying his ass off. Nah, I don't know where any of that came from. We've always been open. Why would nobody in there then? If you was always open, why would nobody in there? The TMZ had reported and did some real simple reporting. They just called the hotel that's directly across the street from Joel Osteen's church. And was like, what's up, y'all flooded? They was like, nah, we ain't flooded. We flooded with people. We had capacity. So this whole lie, the church was flooded. We couldn't let nobody in. Yeah, so this morning he does this like photo op interview with all these like diapers and things. And I guess they were donations behind him. I'm like, man, these dudes are such effing crooks, man. My God. Like, people don't really even realize while you run up in there paying your tithes and all that kind of stuff. I don't go to church, but I still pay tithes because churches are tax exempt, which means my taxes go to subsidize churches, your building fund and all that kind of craziness. Yeah, my taxes go to that. Why? Why should they? I don't benefit from it. But that's how it go. You know what I mean? Look, big L, mega preachers are all scumbag. Here's the deal, though. You think you sit here thinking like small church preachers don't want to be mega preachers? Yeah. Also, shout out to my man Matt. Like, my man Matt was going hard, man, for Joel Osteen. Like, I don't understand that. like you don't know that life, but whatever, man. Like, people get real get sensitive about they preachers or preachers in general sometimes, you know what I mean? And he posted something that said people act like that the only authentic preachers are poor and down and out. And I'm like, wait a minute. See, this is what we do when we start talking about the ultra extremes. Because there's a big gap, right, in between being poor as hell and wearing rags to I'm about to buy a brand new private Learjet and you guys are going to pay for it. Hallelujah. You remember Creflo Dollar did that. It was the most outstanding thing I'd ever seen. People cheering about being taken for their money. He said, God told me I'm going to have this brand. Most people buy private jets. If you're going to buy them, they're not brand new, right? Because private jets don't get like that much mileage on them. And they last for a long time because guess what? Everybody ain't got them and everybody ain't using them. This dude's going to buy brand new, like G5 or whatever. And told these people, stood up in front of, 10,000 people and said, y'all gonna pay for it. And they broke out into cheers and shouting. I was like, that's gotta be the illest lick ever. Somebody's cheering for you, robbing them. Shout out to them, man. That was mega awesome. So yeah, there's a big difference, man. Cause I believe in human nature, right? At the very end of the day, I believe in human nature. And I believe that at a certain point, and everybody, I guess, has their different point, where you're not focusing on two things at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, we talk about the NFL all the time, how it's all about the bottom line. It's not about player safety. It's not about women getting beat up. It's not about players using drugs or performance enhancers. It's not about that. It's not about any of that thing. They're beholden to the bottom line. And once your church is incorporated and you have franchises of your church is now a business. So maybe Joel Osteen has a part of him that's in the soul saving business, but Joel Osteen's in the money getting business. You know what I mean? He got like shareholders and board members and all that kind of stuff. Like, this ain't normal. He's selling books and self-help this, and they got, T-shirts, merchandising, and all this kind of stuff. So, let's not get it twisted in thinking that, his main priority is your ass. And then when stuff like this happens, it shows. It shows what it is, right? He's like, I can't have these wet, stinking, now homeless people in my sanctuary where I do my business. and tell people. And then he got on TV today lying. I don't know what was going on. The church has always been open. I was just wondering why it was empty. Scumbag, turd loaf, man. Oh man, but all in all, man, you know, I'm sitting here laughing because I'm, you know, comfortably in my crib. But you know, I really feel for those people out there, man. I really, really feel for those people in that area, especially. I don't know what show this was on. It was on Viceland though, and they go around to different cities. They went to Toronto. They went to Houston. It's got something to do with hustling and people making money in different ways. And they went to Houston. They was dealing with like with this kid this little midget. I don't know I think he's a midget, and he don't have no arms and legs, but he dance and stuff. And people pay him to come to clubs and do this. So that's like his hustle. This jeweler that did I don't know if y'all see that big piece that Killer Mike has, that huge medallion he has on his necklace. This jeweler did that, and they start profiling all these different ways people are getting their money. This one chick is like a hookah girl at the club, and they was talking about how Houston is experiencing a boom, like a post-Katrina boom has been, because all these people moved there, and people moved there not just, you know, like I'm about to get me a job, but people are moving there with their hustle and getting their hustle on. So economically, Houston was on the come on, one of the fastest rising cities economically, and now boom, this. You know what I'm saying? Like a trillion, dude. They said 1 trillion gallons of water hit that city. That's Niagara Falls or something, is what they were saying. And when I hear 1 trillion, I think 1 trillion is 1 over 1 billion. So 1 billion is 1,000 million. I think 1 trillion is, somebody can check this because I'm not sure. It's either 10,000 million or 100,000 million. To put it in perspective, in the perspective of millions, numbers that we kind of hear and deal with more often than trillion and billion. Gallons of water. Not to mention the water that had to be released from the dams, because apparently it was going to be more of a I don't know, I want to call it crisis, but more dangerous. It's going to be more dangerous had they just allowed the dams to fail. They had to relieve the pressure on them slowly, which, you know, made people's homes flood even more, but it wasn't like a big rush of water. It's like, I don't know, man, the decisions people have to make in a situation like that, man. And I heard this lady on the news talking about how, same thing like within New Orleans, man, how they talking about these levees failed, and she was like, they've been like that for 3 years. They found that out 3 years ago. The only thing they was up there, they was beefing about, again, money. Money. Whoa, wait a minute. 1 trillion is 1 million million? Is that what you meant to put? I didn't know that was putting this in my chat room. 1 trillion is 1 million million? 1 million million gallons fell on one metropolitan area in a matter of a couple days. Man. And of all the disturbing things I saw, and I'm going to take a break here in a second and get my man Rob Grimwood on the phone. Oh, by the way, Rob is calling me, or we're calling Rob in the UK, in London, to talk about some damn fantasy football. Holla at your man, worldwide. Let's go. Probably one of the most disturbing things I saw today, and it was celebrated, and it was one of the whitest moments ever in time. These white folks put bathing suits on their kids and had them playing in floodwater. And I saw one kid had a can, right? And he dunked it in the water and he started drinking it. I was like, you should have seen me in here hollering. What the I mean, he's drinking flood water. And the dude doing the report was like, at least we can find some levity. Kids can find levity in anything. I'm like, yeah, he gonna find a ringworm in his ass in a minute. They went and put on bathing suits so they could, oh God, man. Come on, white people. Come on, white delegation. Do better. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, man, let's take a break. Let's take a couple minutes here. I'm going to get my man on the line. We're going to talk about some fantasy football. So if you got any fantasy football questions, text them to me at 404-902-8104 or jump inside the live interactive chat room and put them in there, or give them to me here on Facebook, man. Facebook.com/ /the number one MICWITHBIGMIKE. It's the One Mic with Big Mike show here live on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in, and of course, the website, OneMicWithBigMike.com.
Well, I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at OneMicWithBigMike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Dear John, I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but you've left me no choice. I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is really serious, and lately you seem to really not care. I've been there for you since day one, and I know you think I'm gonna keep ticking, but no, my friend, I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to the good times, when we were more active and ate more healthy foods, and you checked on me every once in a while? Is that too much to ask? I don't want to leave, but unless you stop ignoring me, what else am I supposed to do? Remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart and don't let it quit on you. Doing the minimum to control your high blood pressure isn't doing enough. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. For help keeping yours at a healthy range, text PRESSURE to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to One Mic.
What are we waiting for? Let's get to it.
With Big Mike.
The champ is here! The champ is here!
Yeah, man, welcome back. It's the One Mic with Big Mike show, live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, starting at 7. I'm here, man, Spreaker.com. Sign up for your free Spreaker accounts. Jump on inside my live interactive chat room. I'm also on that Spreaker app. Tune in, and of course, One Mic with BigMike.com. Listen, if you don't get a chance to hear the entire show or stick around for the entire show, it is available on all 4 of those platforms on demand. You can also catch it on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. The Facebook live stream is going right now. You can always catch that. If you got questions, fantasy football questions, send them to 404-902-8104. You can leave them right below the live the live stream, on Facebook. So now, without ado, told you, bastards, we're going to go across the seas. Go to London, England. Bring in my man, Rob Grimwood from Fantasy Football 24/7. Y'all give it up. Yeah.
Hey, Mike, how's it going, man?
I can't call it, brother. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
All right. First of all, sweet porn name. So if you ever, this fantasy football thing don't work out, you might find yourself with a place in the adult industry, with the adult sex industry. Rob Grimwood. Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
That'll work. Make sure you guys check out. Oops, I'm on the wrong sheet here. All right. Make sure you guys check them out at Fantasy Ranks on Twitter and the website 247fantasyfootball.com. All right, let's start here, Rob. I want to start first because our draft is this Sunday at 4 o'clock. Okay. So my success or failure will either be to my credit or your blame. That's the way I'm going to do it.
Okay.
So let's start with
the kicker first. Drop the kicker first.
See, already I'm in the tank. Give me your top 3, your 3 players at each position: quarterback, running back, tight end, defense, and kicker, if you will, real quick.
Okay, so quarterback. I can't see past Aaron Rodgers this year. Him and Brady are so close, but I think Aaron Rodgers just nips it for me. I think he's got a stronger receiving core, especially now Edelman's gone down. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely firmly in the Rodgers camp. As for running back, it's been tight all off season between him and between David Johnson and Le'Veon Bell. There's been some off the field issues with Bell, with the contract holdout and whatnot. So David Johnson gets it for me. They've been talking off season about him potentially getting 1,000 rush yards and 1,000 receiving yards, and that blows my mind a little bit. I'm a little bit uncertain if he can actually get that, but the potential's there, the upside's there for him for sure. So he's my out and out number 1 running back. Wide receiver, it's tight for me. I love Julio Jones. I love Mike Evans, but Antonio Brown, he's the boy.
Yeah.
He does it year and year after year. He's so talented.
But isn't the problem with Antonio, though, the fact that he doesn't catch touchdowns from anybody but Ben, and Ben is so injury prone? Isn't that one of his problems, that he only catches touchdowns from one guy?
Yeah, that is a big risk, because we've seen it in the past when Landry Jones comes in. He's no good, let's be honest. But then you run the risk with what happens if Matt Ryan goes down? What happens to Julio Jones? What happens if Jameis? Do you know if Jameis goes down and Mike Evans' stock tumbles? Because do you know who's throwing in the football?
I don't.
Ryan Fitzmagic, baby.
Oh, nicely done. Nicely done.
So, it works with all of them. You just got to try. Ben Roethlisberger is a very competent quarterback. He's not so great for fantasy because he has this home-away split. Mm-hmm. So he's always better at home, at Heinz Field. But Antonio Brown is going to get it done for you as long as Ben's on the field. If he's not on the field, then, yeah, you're going to have troubles. But like I said, that's going to be the same for any wide receiver out there.
All right, let's go tight end. Yeah, tight end, defensive kicker.
Tight end, I really like Travis Kelce this year. In fact, I've got Rob Gronkowski as my out-and-out one because he's the consensus number one. If he's on the field, if Tom Brady's throwing, there is no better tight end. He's got the potential to be the GOAT at tight end. That's a big saying. He's got such a great potential. Bill Belichick knows how to use him. Tom Brady knows how to use him. And providing he can stay healthy, because that's the biggest concern.
3 back surgeries.
Exactly. So there is a concern there. But for me, Gronk is a beast. Failing that, though, I'm just going to put in here, I really like Zach Ertz this year from Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. I think he's got a very good chance of breaking through. Jordan Matthews has just left, opening up a big amount of targets in the middle of the field. So Zach Ertz, for me, is the guy that I'm targeting. Kicker, do we really have to speak about kicker and defense?
We can just well, the question I have on defense is that because defenses score on mainly turnovers, right? And that's something that you can't predict. So I guess the main question is, who's gonna limit the other team the most? Because in my league, you're gonna get points for the least amount of yards gained against you and least amount of points gained against you. So which defense do you think is set to make that type of play?
Okay, the defense I like the most because of opportunity is Tennessee, and I'll tell you why. Tennessee faced Blake Bortles twice a year.
Sweet.
Sweet. And, exactly. And also Tennessee faced Indianapolis twice a year. And I don't know whether you noticed, but Andrew Luck, when he plays, gets sacked a lot.
Yeah, he does.
So you're getting your defense points for sacks. So why not Tennessee? And Houston aren't a great offense. So I'd be happy rolling out Tennessee most weeks, but my strategy for defense is I tend to draft them on a week-to-week basis.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I do matchups.
You know what? I'm glad
you available on the waivers.
I'm glad you brought up that term strategy, because that's where I want to go next. And by the way, that English voice that you're hearing on the other line is my man Rob Grimwood from 247fantasyfootball.com. They're on Twitter at Fantasy Ranks. So let's talk strategy, because we got a 12-team snake, right? So what is the optimal draft position? I'm sure it's not 1, and I'm sure it's not 12, but in a 12-team snake draft, what's optimal in your opinion?
Well, it has changed recently because of the Ezekiel Elliott news. Mm-hmm. If you'd have asked me a month ago, I'd have said probably 6. Just because you're guaranteed to get one of them top 6 players. Either you're likely not to get one of the top 3 running backs, but you're going to get one of the top 3 wide receivers. Okay. So that's Odell Beckham, Julio Jones, Antonio Brown. So now actually did pick 6 in my league of record at the weekend, and I was fairly happy with my team, actually. I was very happy with my team. So I still think 6 is a good spot to go. It all depends on when you do your mock drafts, and that's the key, is doing mock drafts in all these positions to find out what you're most comfortable with. So for me, in the middle there, you get a good selection of the elite players. Coming back round in the second, you've got the tail end of the elite players. And going into the third and fourth rounds, you've still got the bulk of the quality receivers and running backs. Your players like Todd Gurley is going to be available in definitely the second, possibly the third. So I would personally, I think, go in the middle. That's what I would say.
Somewhere in the middle. I need you to give me some names.
Okay.
I need a Melvin Gordon, the Melvin Gordon type players, and this is what I mean when I say the Melvin Gordon type, the kind of guy who in his rookie year struggled, but then had a big breakout fantasy year last year. Who are some guys that we might see that from? Top of mind, I think guys like Devontae Parker. I've seen him play in the preseason, even with Jay Cutler coming in there, and he's looked pretty good. A guy who was injured coming out of school and did some work, has been doing some work during the preseason. Who are some other guys that you see making that kind of a jump?
Okay, just looking at my stat sheet here, and the one guy who I think is going to be very effective and is easily able to be picked up in the mid rounds is Adam Thielen from Minnesota. He's just signed a big contract. They love him there. Sam Bradford is a competent, accurate quarterback. He used Thielen last year, got the best out of him, and I think he can take the next step as well. So Adam Thielen, for me, is one definitely to keep an eye on, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm just looking through. Do you know what? At running back, I know I've mentioned him already. I do like Todd Gurley this year. He had such a miserable season last season. Mm-hmm. Box was stacked. It was a struggle. This year they've improved the O-line. I think he's got a decent bounce back year in him.
But that quarterback scares me, man. I mean, of course they got Sammy Watkins now, but still he can barely stay on the field. And then you got Jared Goff, who was like, I feel like Jared Goff is going to ruin Todd Gurley's career. He's going to end Todd Gurley's career, man. Like this great. Could have been great running back. Like you say, he's going to be running against 9-man boxes, 8-9-man boxes. Like who can get anything done in that situation?
Well, I do agree with you. However, I think ask me this question again in 12 months, right? Because this is the breaking point for the Rams this season. They put a lot of capital into Jared Goff. I think he can be a good quarterback. He was good at Cal. I watched him a few times at Cal. I like him. I think he's good. I think Jeff Fisher didn't get the best out of him last season. That's much is obvious.
Well, yeah, that's Mr. Mediocre, Jeff Fisher.
Yeah, exactly. I do think with this new scheme, I think Jared Goff is going to take an upswing this year. I'm not necessarily going to say, look, you're going to get the next Peyton Manning here or the next Brady, but he's going to be better. He's got the young receiver Cooper Kupp, who looks phenomenal at the moment. Mm-hmm. Obviously, as you said, Sammy Watkins has been brought in. I think that opens the downfield up. That opens the middle up for Todd Gurley to exploit. And with the offensive line getting better, I think Todd Gurley is going to have a bounce back year this year, and I'd be more than happy to have him in my team as an RB1.
Oh. Well, I was going to say, if I see him there late, he may be intriguing to me, but I'm not going to force the issue.
You got to trust him, man. You got to trust. He's on a bounce back year.
All right. You say so. I want to ask you about my quarterback strategy.
Go ahead.
I only ride with one. I only draft one quarterback. I draft one quarterback, and when he goes, I wait until he goes on by, and I'll figure it out from there. I'll figure out if I got like another wide receiver I can drop real quick and pick up a bye week quarterback. But I don't ride with two quarterbacks. What are your thoughts on that strategy?
I'm 100% with you. 100% with you. I'm just again looking at my stat sheet here, and between 11th ranked and 23rd rank on my projections is like 40 points. That's how close those quarterbacks are. So you might as well wait. Like, there's going to be, say I did my draft at the weekend with my main league. Matthew Stafford's still sitting on the waivers right now. You'd be more than happy to draft Matthew Stafford into your team. He's more than competent. So there's the proof right there. You do not need to draft a quarterback in the first few rounds. If you've got an infatuation with Rodgers or Brady, then sure, waste a pick. He's going to get you more points, slightly more points. Rodgers more so, but I'm more than happy to wait until the middle late rounds and sleep on a quarterback. You're not going to lose that much.
Yeah, I'm not a guy who's opposed to waiting late and getting me a Kirk Cousins in there real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Something like that.
Unless you're in a 2-quarterback league or a Superflex league, there's so much value in the later rounds for quarterbacks. You might as well wait.
All right. The other voice that you're hearing right now is Rob Grimwood. He's from Fantasy Football 24/7. They're online at 247fantasyfootball.com and on social media at Fantasy Ranks. We got to talk about something that you mentioned briefly earlier, suspensions, holdouts, injury, and how those things are going to affect not just the players that are injured or holding out, but the players around them. Guys like Odell Beckham Jr., Julian Edelman's gone for the entire season. Devontae Freeman just got out of a concussion protocol. Andrew Luck, he's a shell of his former self.
Le'Veon Bell, I'm a big Colts fan, so you're breaking my heart right now.
Yeah, man, this dude. They're not telling us everything about that shoulder, man. Le'Veon Bell, Cam Newton coming off of a shoulder. Like, how are these guys? How are their draft positions affected? And then how are their positions going to affect other guys? Like in the case of ODB, how is it going to affect Eli Manning's draft position or Brandon Marshall's draft position with Andrew Luck, T.Y. Hilton, and guys like that? What's the trickle down effect from these guys being hurt? Not just them, but them and other guys.
I think Indianapolis is a great example here, because you've seen in the last month on ADP from Fantasy Football Calculator that Andrew Luck has gone from being the 4th drafted QB all the way down to he's now 10th, and he's still falling. That does take a knock-on effect to T.Y. Hilton, who's also dropping in the ADP now. Moncrief's not healthy. Like I said, I'm an Indianapolis fan. I'm struggling this season to see the light at the end of the tunnel at the moment. As for OBJ,
I'll tell you what it is. It's a train coming back the other way. That's what that light is at the end of that tunnel.
You might be onto something there, Mike. I'm telling you. As for OBJ, I think he'll be ready. If he's going to miss 1 week, I don't think it's going to affect his stock at all. Okay. But there's also I haven't seen the updates on Brandon Marshall, but he went down as well. I think had an X-ray. Mm-hmm. There's Sterling Shepard sitting right there. He had a productive season last year. There's no reason why he can't have a good season this year. So he's one to look later on in drafts. For sure, keep your eye on the injury situation in the Giants. If Marshall and OBJ are out week 1, then Sterling Shepard could be in for a big week.
You know what I wonder, Rob? And it just hit my mind. We were talking about like where you draft quarterbacks and guys who may not get drafted. Could it be a possibility that with the suspension, if the suspension holds up with Ezekiel Elliott, would Dak Prescott possibly go from a guy who may not get drafted because he doesn't throw the ball a lot if Ezekiel Elliott's there? Would that take him from a guy who ends up not drafted to maybe a guy who ends up getting drafted because he's going to have to throw the ball more?
Well, I'll be honest. I've done 3 drafts this year for the leagues that I'm in, and Dak Prescott's gone in all 3. I think he's being drafted because he's got that appeal. Mm-hmm. And you're absolutely right. I think that does make him. I've got him ranked at 9th. He's my 9th quarterback
overall.
Going through the stats, yeah, absolutely. Wow. I think he makes a big step this year. They know how to use him. Yes, Ezekiel Elliott makes a difference because that's a big part of their game plan. And there's not too many receivers in Dallas, but I think he'll make it work. And I think what you'll find is if Ezekiel Elliott's out, Dak will use his legs more, which obviously translates into fantasy points. Yep.
You mentioned people saying Dak has the appeal. I want to ask you about fool's gold though. Guys who in the mode of like a Matt Ryan, guys who had an unbelievable season last year or had good seasons last year, that would have people possibly overdrafting them, because I think Matt Ryan is a guy who might be overdrafted, going from a guy who in a lot of leagues 2 years ago didn't get drafted. I drafted him 2 years ago, and he screwed me royally with all those interceptions. Screwed me up against a wall, my man. And then came out last year, won an MVP. But who are some other guys who may be a little bit of fool's gold this year? Not because they're not going to be good, but they're not going to be as good as maybe expected this year.
Yeah, okay. So one player, he's getting drafted late, so it's not really much of a surprise, but there's a lot of talk in the fantasy community at the moment about Andy Dalton. A lot of people are sleeping on him and picking him up late, thinking he's going to do damage, but I think he might struggle this year. The O-line has been decimated. They lost two big players, Whitworth and the
receivers, Marvin Jones last year, and Mohamed Sanu.
Exactly. So the receiving core has been taking a knock. They've picked up a good, fast rookie, but how good of a receiver he is yet to be seen.
Right.
But yeah, the O-line's been decimated. I think he might struggle this year. But like I said, he's a bit of a he's drafted late, so you can't really put him in there. But the one guy who I'm really down on this year, who a lot of people are up with, is Jordan Howard. I think he's fool's gold written all over him, because he had a good season last year. I'm not doubting that. The yardage was definitely there. But if you look at his touchdowns from last year, and he actually only scored touchdowns in like 4 games, something stupid like that. So I think I'm not a massive Bears fan this year. I don't think they're going to do much. I don't think they're going to be challenging at all. And I think their game script is going to become obvious. Cameron Meredith just gone down. Marcus Wheaton is injured. They've got another receiver out. Kevin White is an unknown quantity.
Still.
So it's going to be obvious what they're going to do. They've got a rookie quarterback or a journeyman quarterback. Their game script is going to be fairly obvious, and I think he's going to have a Todd Gurley from last year kind of year. They're going to stack the box. He might not be able to find the holes, and the touchdowns weren't there last year, so why are they going to be there this year?
Yeah, that's a good point. Got a couple minutes left here. My man Rob Grimwood from Fantasy Football 24/7. You start talking running backs, and I wonder, should people stay away from certain backfields, that Seattle backfield, that New Orleans backfield, the Cincinnati backfield, these crowded backfields that you don't know week to week what the hell is going to happen? And you know what? I'm a guy who I saw Joe Mixon play last week. I saw Jeremy Hill go down. Gio's coming back. The kid Joe Mixon's there late. I might take a flyer on him, man. But I'm asking you, are there backfields that we should stay away from?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not a fan of committee backfields at all, because I just don't think they don't do it in a fantasy sense. They don't give you enough points. In the off season, I was actually quite high on Eddie Lacy, because I think he's going to a Seattle team which has for years has used that power run. Stick Marshawn Lynch in, let him plow through defenders, and Eddie Lacy is capable of doing that. So I thought it was quite a good fit actually for Eddie Lacy, providing he could keep the weight off and hit his goals, which he has, to credit to him. But now the season's drawn round, and I think actually, that's going to be a committee. Him, Rules, Pro Size. They've got another young rookie, Carson, in there who's sort of making some noise. So, I'm staying away from Seattle. But on the flip side, there is committees that do work. Look at Atlanta for a perfect example.
Well, what about this year, though? Because now Devontae's got the big contract. Now, is that really going to be a committee situation? Because you're not paying him. You're not making him the highest paid running back in the league. Signs the franchise tag with Le'Veon Bell to have him split carries with Tevin Coleman. Are you?
Yeah, I didn't think about that actually. That's a very good point.
He's got to be the bell cow now.
I do think they like Coleman still, though. Obviously it's obvious that he's going to be leaving at the end of the season. I presume they're not going to give him a contract now they've paid Freeman.
Absolutely.
But I still think they're going to use him. As we've alluded to as well, Devonta Freeman has had a knock in the off season. I think he's back now training, but yeah, you bring up a good point there. Actually, I didn't think about the contract issue, but okay, let's take Tennessee for another example there. Derrick Henry is going to be the feature guy there in a couple of years' time. Yeah, for
okay,
sure.
You said in a couple of years, because last year, my man, DeMarco Murray took me to the championship last year. So okay, cool.
Oh yeah. I mean, this year I do think they're going to integrate Derrick Henry a little bit more. I do think DeMarco Murray does take a little bit of a down step, not too much. I'm not saying he's going to drop off a cliff, but he's going to take a bit of a downturn. They're going to start integrating Derrick Henry a lot more this year, a lot more next year, provided Murray's still there. And he is going to be Derrick Henry in a couple of years' time. Is going to be their bell cow, and I love him in Dynasty. I've got him in a couple of Dynasty leagues, and yeah, I'm all over that.
No doubt. Talk to me about some rookies that we can see contributing this year. I already mentioned Joe Mixon, who I think will be getting some quality time up there in Cincinnati with these injuries. But who are some other rookies that you see doing well? And please don't say Leonard Fournette, because he's going to be he's my new Todd Gurley.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, buddy. I'm not on Fournette at all this season. Just out of interest, just quickly, just going back to Joe Mixon. Where do you think he's being drafted right now?
Oh man, I'd say late, man. I'd say pretty late, as a matter of fact.
If I was to tell you, I'm looking at Fantasy Football Calculator now, and Joe Mixon is being drafted 401.
Wait, drafted where?
Fourth round, 401.
That seems... because you don't even know if he's starting. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what he's now going ahead of Ty Montgomery, Doug Martin, Kareem Hunt, who's obviously taken a big upswing recently, Amir Abdullah. He's going ahead of all them, just behind Lamar Miller and Carlos Hyde. So you're now having to pay a price for someone you don't even know is starting.
Right.
So if you can pick him up late, if he's still there in the 6th, 7th round, go ahead and grab him, because I think he's a phenomenal talent. But if you're going to pick him in the 4th round, that means he's going to be your second running back. And depending on your draft strategy, do you want him as your first running back?
Wait, so he's going before Christian McCaffrey? Because I think Christian McCaffrey's got a lot of value with the pass catching ability and the running ability. So Joe Mixon is going before Christian McCaffrey as a rookie?
No, just after. Christian McCaffrey is on 302 at the minute.
Okay.
3rd round.
Okay. Well, that still seems high, but okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of the running backs have all kind of spiked recently for some reason. I don't know whether it's just preseason hype, but they've all seemed to have spiked at the moment. But yeah, sorry, a rookie. I really like Curtis Samuel from Carolina Panthers. This dude is fast. John Ross took all the plaudits at the combine, but actually Curtis Samuel I think was 5th fastest on the 40-yard dash. He's a really good receiver and did have a bit of a knock in the off season, which is kind of slowed things down. And Kelvin Benjamin has seemingly come back from being overweight, overfed, and is now coming back to look like his former self. So that has taken a slight knock. Let me have a quick look at my rookies here.
You know who else I'm thinking about? The kid, the tight end, the Alabama tight end down there with Jameis Winston. He should probably be a major contributor, right? Because they got 2 tight ends. They got 2 pretty good tight ends down there. But he is the more athletic of the 2, and somebody who could do some damage in the red zone, right?
He definitely can do damage in the red zone. However, I do think O.J. Howard might be, certainly for his Rick. Just don't forget that rookie tight ends usually don't do so well. So. Yeah. We had a bit of an anomaly last year with Hunter Henry. He had a fantastic season. But other than that, you're looking right back from Gronk's rookie year before you're getting any real production out of a rookie tight end.
Ouch.
And I do think, as you picked up on, O.J. Howard is very athletic. I think they're going to use him more on the line as a blocking tight end, and continue to use Cameron Brate as a passing weapon. And as well, you've got Deshaun Jackson there as well, who is going to take some targets. So I think the targets for O.J. Howard might be limited this year, being a rookie tight end, so I'm not super high on him.
Okay.
I am just looking. There is one guy I know I'm quite high on, one rookie. I just can't find who it is.
The kid out of Florida State up there in Minnesota. Like, he'll get plenty of targets, will he not? I'm terrible with names. I know where everyone went to school, but names, I suck at names. The kid,
I'll tell you. There is one. Just go on. You go.
Yeah, the kid, the running back out of Florida State. He's gonna get a bunch of carries because guess what? Guess who checks down every time? Sam Bradford. So he's gonna get the ball out of the backfield, a bunch of screen passes. I think he should be able to do some work up there. Yeah,
Dalvin Cook. Yeah. Actually, he's actually. Him and Kareem Hunt actually are back-to-back in my rankings in running back this year. I think they're both going to be fairly productive. But the one guy and the Fantasy Football 24/7 writers will love me for saying this because we've all got an eye on George Kittle this year. He's a rookie tight end. He's in San Francisco, and as we know, they've just traded away Vance McDonald. So there is a big opportunity for a very athletic tight end in San Fran that not many people will have heard of. So, keep that on the radar. George Kittle.
Written down, note taken. My man, Rob Grimwood, I appreciate you joining me from way over there in London. We're going to do it again real soon, my man, if you got the time for me, my man.
For sure. Always got the time for you, Big Mike.
All right. Thanks, man.
No problem. Thanks, buddy. Nice speaking to you.
All right, man, make sure y'all check out my man, Rob. All that stuff, man, on Fantasy Football 24/7 at Fantasy Ranks on Twitter. And that was cool. You know what I'm saying? My man with the London, England, the bloke from... I need to ask him, is that like a slur, calling the dude from England a bloke? I don't know what it means, but now it's 2017 and everything seems to be a slur. So the next time I talk to him, maybe next week, we'll talk to him again after the draft and see what's popping. I ask him if bloke is a slur, so I don't offend nobody. We're going to take a break, come back, do On This Day. We got to get into some more of the top sports stories from the day. 404-902-8104 is my text line if you want to get in contact with me. I'm being heard live right now on Spreaker, the Spreaker app. Tune in, and, of course, One Mic with BigMike.com. I'll be right back.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to mooch off your friends.
You gonna finish that grape?
You mean the one in my mouth?
You don't need to stop buying the necessities.
What you're smelling is a natural musk.
Ew.
You don't need to be a medical test subject.
How do you feel?
Mostly okay. Sometimes, though.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman. Let's break for lunch.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
All right, deal.
Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
One Mic.
All I need is one mic.
It's just different.
One Mic with Big Mike.
The overall tenor of what he's saying is very stupid.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
Maybe it's not racism. Maybe it's placism.
Brother has to know his place, right, Bob?
One Mic with Big Mike.
Things aren't always what they seem.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limit.
Don't just tell me that the reason something's being done is because that's the way it's always been done. Because the first thing I'm going to say to you is slavery.
And now, your host.
I got the big homie here who needs no introduction.
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Oh, yeah. 1 hour down here on the One Mic with Big Mike show on a hump day.
Hump day.
I get the button hit. Coming at you live right now on Spreaker. Also on the Spreaker app. Make sure you download it for all your mobile devices. Tell your friends about it. Sign up for your free Spreaker accounts. I'm also on the TuneIn app and One Mic with BigMike.com, my website. If you don't get a chance to stick around for the entire show, it is available on demand on all 4 of those outlets, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. And I got the Facebook live stream pumping all week long. We've been going, or since last week, going with the Facebook live stream. So make sure you check it out at the number one MICWITHBIGMIKE. Leave your comments and questions below, and I'll try to get to them as the show rolls on. Twitter and Instagram, follow me there at One Mic with Big Mike if you want to be a part of the show. 404-902-8104 is the number you want to send your text messages to, or you can just jump on inside my live interactive chat room by clicking that little thought bubble icon you see on the streaming player. Big L giving my guest from the other side of the pond crap. I guess he used the word boy while describing one of the players, and everybody's so racially sensitive right now. Big L's like, don't make me come for this dude. Who did he call? He called Antonio Brown a boy. God, it's stupid. Speaking of being called a boy, have y'all seen this story about Reverend William? How do you say this name? Aitchison, Aitcheson. Well, apparently, he's temporarily stepping away from the public ministry after writing an op-ed that he was a member of the Klan decades ago. Man of the cloth. Images of violence in Charlottesville brought back memories of a dark time in his life, one he wishes he could forget, but is unable to. Good, it should haunt you forever. And by the way, like, how does that work? Is the gang is the Klan like a gang? Like, once you're in, you in. Like that old, like, I was in the Klan thing. You know, it's like them dudes who were like, I was gay. I kind of think once you cross that threshold, ain't no coming back, because it's like, you there. You know what I'm saying? Just be happy, merry, and gay. You know, I used to be gay. Who's that? That preacher. Is Donnie McClurkin? I think it's Donnie McClurkin, right? He's the one that's like, he's been transformed. Come on, bruh. What's in your dreams at night, B? Penises, probably, right? Yeah, so you gay. It's cool. Especially now. You know, gay folks is winning, so... But I guess you're not winning if you're like a church guy, too. You can't be a church guy and a gay guy, I guess, whatever. It says no choir director ever. Anyway, let's take a look back.
Now, let's take a look back. On this day.
All right, so let me short and sweet. Maybe not so sweet. On this day in 1987, Ben Johnson. You guys remember Ben Johnson, the Canadian? He ran the 100 meter in a world record 9.83 seconds. He beat Carl Lewis, and then they found roids in his body. And by the way, everybody was on roids then too. If you ever seen that 30 for 30 about this stuff, about the Ben Johnson thing, these grown men wearing braces because that's what, and they got acne, back acne, and acne all over their face. Yeah, all them dudes is on steroids. He just happened to be the one to get caught. That's usually what the steroid thing is about at this point in time, right? Now it's just about getting caught. Like, dudes is doing roids, man, and dudes is doing performance enhancers. And ever since that dude that was messing with Alex Rodriguez told everybody, like, look, dude, if you take them the way they're supposed to be taken, we're so far ahead of the test, you're not going to get caught. Thus, A-Rod never got caught. He just copped to it. You know what I mean? So apparently, he was taking them right. On this day in 1990, the kid, Ken Griffey Jr., and his dad, Ken Griffey Sr., became the first father and son to play on the same baseball team with the Seattle Mariners. On this day in 1991, Dan O'Brien sets a U.S. decathlon record with 8,812 points. You remember those dudes, Dan and Dave. They had all the commercials, and then they showed up at the Olympics and sucked. And then finally, on this day in 1991, Mike Powell of the U.S. sets a long jump record at 29 feet, 4.5 inches, and that is your Hump Day edition of On This Day. All right, as we get back into the sports talk. Well, maybe not get back into it. Maybe just get into the sports talk, because we was talking about the Hurricane Harvey to start the show off, man, and just like the crazy reactions that it's bringing out of people, and yeah, see, Big L knows all these dudes on roids, man. And I don't know. I find it. I can't really be. If everybody's doing it, it's hard for me to be a moralist about it. I'm still not a moralist about it. I just think it's messed up. Like the John Jones situation with that kid Cormier. I think that's that's an ill thing, especially in a one-on-one sport where that could be the difference in you kicking somebody's ass and not doing it. I think that's kind of, and then your money too. That's messing with another dude's money too. You know what I'm saying? All that kind of stuff. When you go that route, and he, like, you see this dude Cormier, he's clearly not on roids. Like, that's one of the beefs him and John Jones had. John Jones was calling him a fat boy whatever. He said, well, at least my wiener works, because the thing that John Jones got popped for 6 months ago was apparently a male enhancer, whatever. So he was like, yeah, I may be fat, but my ding-a-ling works. Touche. I'll take that every time. Well, really, I don't have no choice. I'm fat already. So, and my ding-a-ling works. So good for me. The other thing that happened yesterday, Matt Stafford. He's now the highest paid player in NFL history. And every time this happens, you MFers react the same way. How is that a thing? Like, how are you a football fan in 2017 and you don't understand at least that part of the economics of the sport that says every year it's going to be somebody. Somebody's going to come up. The market is set the way it is for that position, that every time somebody gets paid, the next person up, if they're within that realm, you know what I'm saying? It's not saying who's like an average quarterback, like Tyrod Taylor. Like Tyrod Taylor comes up, Tyrod get bum deals too. Like that deal he got last year was so bum, and then he didn't go. Then after they pulled it, he didn't even go test free agency to up the price. He went back for another bum ass deal. Like that. Like if you're Tyrod Taylor, you get bum ass deals. But if you're Cam Newton, got an MVP under your belt, you know what I'm saying? If you're Matthew Stafford, and you're a guy who, think about where his price point started as a rookie. He was one of the last ones to get one of those $50 million guarantees off rip coming out of Georgia. So he's already starting at that point right now. You got Kirk Cousins bringing in $5 million this year? I don't know. Matt Stafford, maybe marginally better, but better than Kirk Cousins. So when you're doing your negotiation, you're taking all these numbers into consideration. So Kirk Cousins will be up next year. And if the Redskins want to be fools, he don't get hurt this year, and they want to franchise his butt next year again, it's gonna cost him about $30 million. That's gonna drive the price up for guys like Matt Ryan. You see Matt Ryan texting or tweeting, yeah, so happy for Matt Stafford. I bet your ass is. You talking about really backing up the Brinks truck. He got an MVP, got a Super Bowl appearance. Yeah, just in time, because it'll still be like he can play like regular Matt Ryan football this year, but that MVP will still be fresh on people's well, I don't know around here. These people can't wait in this city, boy. And for those of you who don't know, I'm in Atlanta. These people around here can't wait to turn on that boy. They can't wait. I heard someone say the reason that they won't go back to the Super Bowl is because the quarterback is too flaky. Wait, this is the MVP of last year, and it wasn't really even that close. Like maybe you throw Tom Brady in there, but he missed the 4 games, and then maybe because Aaron Rodgers came on so hot at the end, but from start to back, like the MVP race was kind of done. You know what I mean? It was kind of in the bag. And to say that it's going to be that guy, him, not the young defense, that's going to keep that team out of the Super Bowl, I don't know. that just goes to the level of disrespect that dude has gotten since he's been here, man. Since he replaced Mike Vick in this city, man, that type of disrespect, I feel like it's uncalled for. But anyway, back to the Matt Stafford situation. Look, the whole concept of in professional sports, somebody being worth an amount. Okay, there's a couple of different ways to think about this. Most practically, you're worth what somebody's willing to pay you. That's the most simple way. And you're also worth what you're able to negotiate for. You know, once you put yourself in a position of need, and the Lions obviously feel like they need Matthew Stafford. To what end is another story. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need Matthew Stafford to get to a Super Bowl. Well, of course you got to win a playoff game first. You know, and that's not all on him. You know, I got some, you know, you guys know I don't go heavy stats on this show. I think they're overrated, and I think anybody who's looking for stats, you got a supercomputer in your hand right now or in your pocket right now. You don't need me for stats. But I think these do serve a purpose, because people talk about his record now against teams with better than 500 records. Well, first of all, it's not his record. He's one of 22 on the football field at a time. This whole notion, it's been something that I've railed against for years on radio. Giving quarterbacks win-loss records. Like, I don't remember that being a thing. When I was coming up and watching Warren Moon and watching Randall Cunningham and Joe Montana and Dan Marino and these cats, people didn't talk about win-loss records. And at some point in time, it just I guess with all the new age analytics and all that, which I'm a big analytics guy. I appreciate analytics. But in this case, they don't even work to the point where, first of all, it's not an official stat. Other of all, the sport that it is an official stat in, baseball, they're moving away from it when it comes to evaluating pitchers because there's too many other things that factor in. Like some dudes running around with a under 2 ERA, which is another stat that they're kind of not even taking that much seriously or that seriously anymore. But some dude has this low ass ERA, but they're not giving him any run production. Well, guess what? His win-loss record is going to suck. That don't mean he sucks as a pitcher. Then you can have a dude with like a 4 or 5 ERA, but every time he go out, they score 8 runs for him. Is he a better pitcher because he's like, 12-3? So if baseball don't want to do it anymore, why do it in football, where it is the actual consummate team sport, where every player has to be doing something on every play for it to work, almost. They say he's never won a playoff game. Again, that ain't just on him. That's not on him. And if you're wondering why this deal is such a big deal, $27 million per season average. Now, it is an NFL contract, so there's money spread out on this and this money and that money. But Matthew Stafford is young enough where he'll probably have to renegotiate the deal a couple times, but that doesn't mean give money back. Like, people hear that and they think it means give money back. People hear Tom Brady renegotiated his contract all the time. The last time he renegotiated it, he just got all his money up front so that when he got suspended, it wouldn't cost him as much. And that's what he's done a couple times. They just gave him more money, but just gave it to him earlier to kind of manipulate the salary cap. But you hear renegotiate and you think that means Tom is giving money back to help the team. That's not what's happening. That's a misnomer, and no one on the Patriots, Tom Brady, none of these people are clearing it up for you guys, but that's not what's happening. Go to Spotrac and look for it on your own. Now, when I'm sitting here talking about it not being his fault, right? The stuff that I'm talking about, these win-loss records, this what is it, 5-46 records against teams with a winning record. Well, here's what I found this to be very, very strange, and I don't know how many people know this. Because I wouldn't have thought this, that Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, and Matt Ryan, they all have losing records, so to speak, since we're there, against teams with winning records. So they're in the same boat. And all these dudes, Aaron Rodgers is another one. He's about to get broke off. Because when his deal is up, because he's still relatively young, still playing relatively well. A couple more stats, and I'm gonna move off of this. Since 2009. That was Matt Stafford's first year in the league. The Lions ranking in scoring defense, which is the only stat that should matter as a defense because that's your job, right? Keep them out of the end zone. Scoring, like all these people talk about, yards against and all this kind of crazy. Nah, it's points. How many points do you give up every game? Well, for the Lions, their scoring defense since 2009 has been 32nd, 19th, 23rd, 27th, 15th. One year they finished third, though. 23rd and 13th. The one year that they finished third was 2014. They went 11-5. That kind of helps. When the other side of the ball can stop people from putting the ball in the end zone, it makes it a little bit different. But other than that year, which now we can clearly see was an outlier, at no point were they even in the top 10. And one year, probably that defeated year, they were last. They were dead last. Yeah, man. You can't you can't do that much. Matthew Stafford ain't tackling people. He ain't getting interceptions, and he's not running the ball either. Their running game since he's been there, their ranks have been 24th, 23rd, 29th, 23rd again, 17th, 28th, 32nd, dead last, and 30th, almost dead last. So at least 3 times they finished 32, 30, and 29. There's 32 teams in the league, by the way. for those of you who are counting at home. So, like I say, Matt Stafford is young, 29 years old. He's going to probably redo the deal a couple times, but by the time it's all said and done, because of that rookie contract, he's going to walk away with at least $200 million playing NFL quarterback. That's a pretty good living, man, especially now in the age of not being able to touch the quarterbacks. Everybody's scared of, the CTE and Roger Goodell got people fooled that, you know what I mean, the game is going to be safer. I'm making the game safer. It's football, dude. It's collision. Ain't happening at all. Speaking of, while we here, the game safer. Shout out to Vontaze. Shout out to Vontaze Burfict, man. Just broke before the show started. That 5-game suspension that was over his head is only 3. I think that 5-game was gonna cost him like $90,000 a game. Damn, for playing football. Like, yeah, he clocked that dude, but I don't know, man. I kind of refuse, man, to buy into that narrative that the NFL has brainwashed you guys, man. They've taken you from a place of, ooh, we got jacked up, to, oh man, they need to kick Vontaze Burfict out the league. Why? Why? Like, he didn't last Boy Scout the kid. He didn't run up on the field with a gun and start shooting folks. Well, that wouldn't be, yeah. I heard that after it came out of my mouth. That's not really kicked out of the league, more as go to jail type, whatever. But yeah, he got the suspension reduced to 3 games. I don't even know if that's a win, man, because he gonna get it again. He's like James Harrison. I guess James Harrison changed some as he got older, but that dude name ends with Tez, and any dude from the hood I know named Tez, any Tez on the bottom, that EZ at the bottom of your name, yeah, man, you a fool with yours, man. So I'm not looking for Vontaze Burfict to change too much. You know what I mean? And for what it's worth, the whole thing is a farce. And every chance I get, I try to remind you guys that the issue with the NFL and these lawsuits, it wasn't about players getting concussions. It's going to happen if you use your head to run into another human being. It's going to happen, right? Problem was, and the thing that they still don't want to own up to, is that they lied to these players and telling them that it was okay, that there was no link to long-term cognitive disorders linked to football. They lied to them. Now, dude, I don't have no problem watching these games. I don't have no moral obligation to it and all this kind of stuff, because guess what? Now you know the risk. You know the risk when you're doing it. It's like if you're an astronaut, right? You know that the damn shuttle could blow up. It's happened before. But, the ends, in your case, justify the means. So you're willing to take that risk. If you're a window washer, right, you got to get your money on. So if the cables on the thing fail because they ain't been inspected as they were supposed to, and you die, that's part of the risk of that job. As long as you're informed, though, you're informed of the risk inherent with your job, it's cool. This dude, what is his name? This ESPN announcer. This is like the whitest thing again that's happening. It's like it's like, what did white people do Wednesday today? Maybe that's gonna be a new thing on the show. Like, what did white people do today? My man quit his job at ESPN on some moral obligation to the violence in the game. What is this guy's name? Ed Cunningham is his name. He's walking away from his job because he can no longer condone the game's health risk. Hold on, no one's asking your permission, Ed. You know what I mean? How are you condoning it by calling the game? You know what I'm saying? Are you on the field running into folks, smashing people's heads together? Nah, you up in the booth talking about what you see. That'd be like the people on CNN condoning Hurricane Harvey. Nah, kind of not. It's not really what they do. They're telling a story. They're telling you what's going on in the world. Like, this is some grandstanding, high and mighty, super white people bullcrap. Because I don't see no bruhs. I don't care who you are. Like, you know what I'm gonna do? Yeah, give up my gig because of the thing. And obviously he's been doing it a while because he's over at ESPN. So you don't just like entry level play-by-play at ESPN and ABC. Nah, you've been doing this for a while. So this is like, how is this an epiphany? He says this is his quote. How sanctimonious is this quote? I take full ownership from my alignment with the sport. I can just no longer be in that cheerleader spot. Cheerleader, you calling games, cuz? Who you cheering for? First of all, you ain't supposed to be doing that anyway. It goes on. In its current state, there are some real dangers, broken limbs, wear and tear. But the real crux of this is that I just don't think the game is safe for the brain. To me, it's unacceptable, end quote. And I assume you quitting your job is going to make all those things better. Come on, man. Like, come on, white people. That can't be a thing. You know what I mean? Like, life can't be that good as a white man in America where you feel like that is taking a stand. I'm going to quit my job because football, this game that, and I think he played too. Like, he played ball. So this game that I've played and have been associated with, and I call these games, all of a sudden now it's just, you know what? I would have more respect for this dude if he walked away from the gig because the kids wasn't getting no money. You know what I'm saying? Like if he was like, man, I can't keep benefiting off the sweat and effort and the pain of these kids, knowing that they're not getting anything for it. Like you say that kind of stuff, all right, maybe. You know, maybe that equals out. But nothing about what you do equates to you condoning what they do on the football field. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody can square this circle for me, but it sounds like some ultimate grandstanding bullcrap. And I don't know. Ed can't be married. And if he is, I know Ed's not married to a black woman. Because there's no bro in the world is going home telling his black wife, you know what I did today, baby? I quit. She's going to be like, your job? Yes, my job. And why you do that? Were they about to fire you or something? But even then, the black woman was like, they need to fire your ass. Don't quit. Make them fire you. Nah, I just got these moral objections to what's going on in the football field. Then it's like, well, what's changed? Haven't they been doing the same things for the umpteenth year you've been doing this? Yeah, but now I'm extra offended. After you cash all the checks from your ESPN, now I'm offended. Man, sit your ass down. Speaking of, college football starts. Is it tonight or tomorrow night? What are we talking about with college football? Is it tonight or tomorrow night? I don't know. Tonight we do have the conclusion though of it's tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, 6:00. Get to see FIU and UCF. Tonight, season finale of Snowfall. If you're not on Snowfall, do something awful to yourself. Just find something that's dull and rusty and use it to do something bad with yourself. Snowfall is an awesome show on FX. Season finale tonight, man. Tried to get somebody from the show on, but they got a weird media relations thing that you can barely. Whatever. So anyway, this weekend, Ohio State takes on Indiana. We got Florida Atlantic and Navy. Hold on. No, Florida Atlantic is where Lane Kiffin is at, right? Florida International is a different school. Damn it, Big L. Yeah, Florida Atlantic is where that kid from Florida State is, that quarterback is at now. Of course, down here in the A, Chick-fil-A kickoff, you got Alabama and Florida State. First real football game that's going to be in the brand new dome. Obviously, they opened it up last week for the preseason situation. Tom Herman, the Texas opener. Also, you got Oklahoma with their brand new head coach. You get to see Baker Mayfield, UCLA, and Texas A&M. I heard people talking about my man Kevin Sumlin on the hot seat. Damn. That Johnny Manziel was, saving careers, wasn't it? Now they got my man on the hot seat. He got to go take on Josh Rosen, kid who was the golden boy at one point. Had a tough season last year, him and Jim Moore for UCLA. It's going to be some cool college football this weekend, man. I'm going to park it. I'm parking it on the couch. in the recliner this Saturday, man. Get my college football on. Tennessee and Georgia Tech. Tennessee got to replace Josh Dobbs, man, but I'm not really excited about that team. You know, they laid a huge egg last year, and that team hadn't been good since like Philip Fulmer was the head coach of it. So we'll see. And then their coach is on the hot seat as well for whatever that's worth. Let's take a break, come back, wrap the show up. I got to talk about this whole this protest situation. Aaron Rodgers spoke about the anthem protest. We got to call it something else. Got to find something else to call it, man. The Colin Kaepernick protest. Yeah, the Colin Kaepernick inspired protests. Aaron Rodgers spoke out about it. And when I come back, I'll tell you what he had to say.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed,
680 to 90,
could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And now back to One Mic with Big Mike.
And here we go!
Hey. Where's Petey Pablo? He got out of jail a couple years ago. Ain't nobody put him on no records.
Pump, tape.
Yep, we on over this hump, man. We on the backstretch now. Is that what it's called? The backstretch in horse racing. Here on the One Mic with Big Mike show, man, live on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app, tune in, and of course, OneMicWithBigMike.com, and Facebook Live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, starting at 7 o'clock. So yeah, every show we got to pretty much do this. Moved it on back in the show today. You know, the Colin Kaepernick protest update, I guess we can call it that, because every day there's a little bit more news. He's staying relevant. The news cycle hadn't run out on him, although he's not playing in the NFL right now. I don't know what that necessarily says, because I guess eventually they'll get everyone's opinion on it. Everyone who has an opinion on it, they'll get their opinion on it, and then we'll see, what happens from there. So recently, Mina Kimes, is her last name Kimes or Kimes? You guys remember her? She did that interview with the Bennett brothers, that crazy interview they did, calling Roger Goodell names and all that kind of stuff. Well, she got another sit down, another pretty good exclusive sit down with Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers, and he spoke on a variety of things. But of course, the one that stuck out to me was what he had to say about Colin Kaepernick when asked. And I'm not sure if this even means anything, because I know there's a big push. The white players need to speak out more. They need to get involved. Not in any, and the thing is, not with any specific directive either. As I sit here and think about it right now, like, get involved. That's how you get dudes saying, like, okay, if I just touch this dude during the anthem, I'm involved. Or if I stand close enough to what they're doing, I can consider myself being involved. Or, in the case of Derek Carr, saying, no, I'm not involved. I'm just putting my hand on my homie. You know what I mean? So you have that plausible deniability either way. So with that being said, I don't know what this necessarily is, and I'll tell you guys what the this is here in just a second. He said that Colin Kaepernick should be in the NFL. You know, he thinks that Colin Kaepernick's decision to kneel during the national anthem last year has actually prevented him from signing a new contract. And I think most rational people, most of the rational amongst us, can believe the same thing. And if you don't, I'm just going to say Thad Lewis to you every time. And if Thad Lewis don't work for you, I'll say Geno Smith. I'll also say E.J. Manuel. If those names don't work, I'll say Christian Ponder to you, which was a name that came up when the Dolphins didn't know if they were going to be able to sign Jay Cutler. So, yeah, most of us rational people understand. And by the way, her name is Mina Kimes, Kimes. Most of us rational people understand that Colin Kaepernick's not in the league because he felt like, you know, police killing black people needed to be brought to the forefront of America's minds and hearts. Imagine that, huh? His actual quote, Aaron Rodgers' actual quote is, I think he should be on the roster right now. I think because of his protests, he's not. Now, he has no plans. He's putting it plain and simple. He has no plans on joining the protest or the movement. But he did describe it as peaceful and respectful. You know, politician talk, I guess I should say it is. He goes on to say, quote, I'm going to stand because that's the way I feel about the flag. But I'm also 100% supportive of my teammates or any fellow players who are choosing not to. They have a battle for racial equality. That's what they're trying to get a conversation started about, end quote. See, that's where I kind of have a problem about it. When white people, in general, distance themselves in that way from the issue of race and race equality, his quote is, they have a problem or they have a battle for racial equality. Nah, dude. Like, if it's really what it is, you should find it problematic too. That this country for hundreds of years has said that you're just better because of the color of your skin. But the acceptance, you know what I'm saying? The acceptance of white privilege is not just neo-Nazis, man. It's a subliminal thing in a lot of cases. Like, he didn't say that with any type of vitriol. That's just the way he feels. Like, that's their problem. He repeated it, saying that's what they're trying to get a conversation started about. Like, come on, man. Why not you? You know what I'm saying? Because I said it on a previous show. Like, if it's a problem, and I was talking about like trans people and homosexual people, if it's a problem for them and people are infringing upon their rights, like, I take that personally myself as well. You know what I mean? I always feel like, anyway, in any of these situations, it ain't but too long before it comes back on the Negroes anyway. So you can let it fester with the people in Standing Rock or the Hispanics or Muslims or gay people. You can stand on the sideline looking like, oh man, it's messed up what's happening to them. Yeah, eventually it'll be your turn. You know what I mean? Eventually it'll come, and it'll come in the form of Trayvon Martin or Tamir Rice or Philando Castile or Sandra Bland. It'll come in that form. Where now it's time to pay attention. No, cuz if it's anybody who's having their rights alienated, man, everyone should take it personally. You know what I mean? Because everybody's rights. They should be for everybody. And then in the spirit of, Aaron Rodgers saying that he won't be joining the movement or the protest, any of those things. I ran across this article. It talks about what if college football players join in? What if the college players join in? And I've for so long, you guys have heard me talk about the NCAA holes and all this kind of stuff. I for long said, look, man, these guys at some point, if they're for real, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't tell nobody what they should risk and what they shouldn't risk. That's a personal decision. But if these dudes are for real, man, it's gonna take balls, man, to stand up to the emperorships that have been given to guys like Nick Saban and Urban Meyer and these college football coaches who feel like they run every damn thing, Jim Mora and they're the kings of these. And for the most part, in a lot of these situations, the head football coach is the highest paid player in the state, or highest paid state employee. I guess I should say it that way. This article, man, had a couple of quotes from some guys that I know, right? Guys who've been on this show. My man Wade Davis, Coach Bill Curry hasn't been on this show, but he's been on a previous show when we were doing the Sports Kings. We talked to Coach Curry a bunch of times on that show, and some of the points that are made in the article make a whole lot of sense to me, man, as to why guys think that this will eventually happen. Mainly the Charlottesville thing, kids are paying attention to what's happening around college campuses, and that's where that happened, right around the University of Virginia. The thing about the anthem protest, and I don't know that I just never paid attention. Which before Colin Kaepernick, most of us can agree. If you at the crib, you're not paying attention to the national anthem, unless like like Christina Aguilera or Whitney Houston, somebody big is singing it. But like just an average preseason or regular season game or whatever, no one really cares about the anthem until Colin Kaepernick decided he wasn't going to stand for it. So I don't feel alone in saying that. I didn't even realize that the college football players, they're not even on the field when the anthem plays. They're in the locker room. So if somebody's taking a knee, and they probably sitting down, by the way, they probably in the locker room sitting down during the national anthem. And this article has some quotes from, like I mentioned, Bill Curry, right? He says as soon as Kaepernick did what he did, because he feels like it's about to go down in college football with these kids. As soon as Kaepernick did what he did, I can see that was the beginning of something, and guys were going to join him. He goes on to say the protest thing in the NFL is only going to grow, and the college guys, they're figuring it out, and they'll start saying, quote, "This isn't right. This isn't the American way." So I think they'll follow along, and there will be more and more organization, end quote. That's going to be interesting to see this year. And it's going to be interesting to see from a couple of different standpoints. We saw it out of the guys from the University of Missouri. Was it Missouri University? University of Missouri. When they wanted the president fired, they was like, we just won't play against BYU. And then people start calculating the dollars that was going to be lost and was like, yeah, because Mr. President, you got to step down, B. Not just you, Chancellor. You hired him, so you leave with him. You know what I mean? And it worked out. Like one student, he was like mad old too. He was like 35 or something, still on the college campus protesting. But that's another story for another day, I guess. Went on hunger strike. He went eat no more till my man was fired. I think the details of the story sounded a little bit bogus to me, but whatever. It at the end of the day, it exemplified the power that these athletes have as the product on the football field. As much as the NCAA wants to say, well, their names and their likenesses, they have no redeemable. What's wrong with my mouth today? Am I like having mini strokes? Is my heart checked or something? Am I having like strokes today? They have no redeemable value. Now it's just getting stupid. And then every time you see the commercial, pay attention to the commercial for the Chick-fil-A kickoff. They don't just talk about Florida State and Alabama. They actually show the Francois kid, the quarterback for Florida State, coming out of it. Like, why you need him to promote a game? If his likeness has no redeemable value, leave him out of it. Or just use the guys that are getting paid. Use Jimbo and Nick Saban. Use them. Nah, that ain't good enough, though. So the kids in Missouri realized what their value was. And it ended up getting proven that there was value. You remember the Northwestern situation from a couple years ago. Guys wanted to unionize. Now, that didn't materialize to anything, but inevitably it did show a certain level of power once they got that first ruling that said, yeah, these dudes should be treated like employees. Yeah, they work as much as any full-time employee or more. Their commitment is as such, and they make plenty of money for you guys. Tulane's athletic director chimed in as well. He says that he thinks we're going to see much more of this stuff, right? My man Wade Davis. You guys remember Wade Davis, right? Wade Davis, big time LGBT activist, self-proclaimed feminist. He did my show. One of the most informative interviews on the show, too. You know what I'm saying? He pointed toward the culture of college football, of a college football team where the coach has the biggest hammer and the athletes often don't want to do anything that would jeopardize their scholarship and thus their chance to make it to the NFL. And that's the carrot, right? That's the carrot they hold in front of the horse to make it run. Because every last one of these kids is going to the NFL. And the ones who ain't, they still there on scholarship. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that the coach has the right to pull that scholarship at any given time at his own whim. That's a crazy proposition. These year-to-year deals, NCAA still ain't came up with like, okay, you coming 4 or 5. I say 5. Get it done in 5. Nah, 1 year renewables, cuz. Let's go. So step out of line if you want to. I got some Colin Kaepernick action for that ass. You get blackballed from college football, ain't no coming back. He also goes on to say, Wade goes on to say, there's a different level of ownership. White people, I know you hate to hear that word, boy. When we start talking about these parallels between the sports arenas and slavery, white people get butt tight over that, boy. Okay, first and foremost, so-and-so is making this amount of money a year. You show me the slave that's making that amount. All right. Because when you make these comparisons, they always go straight to the slave, not to the person acting as a slave master. Because you think Bill Belichick gives a damn how much Brandon Cooks is making? You know what I mean? You think Jerry Jones, you think he cares how much Ezekiel Elliott is making? Like every last one of them Cowboys players is like, who? Kneel for what? Man, please. My boss man already said what it is. Yeah, ain't nothing to see here, though. You think Roger Goodell cares about Jameis Winston's contract? Hell no. Has nothing to do with it. I keep telling y'all, man, go get William C. Roden, man. Go get the $40 million slave. And then share it with your white homies so they understand. They understand, man, that there is a such thing as a $40 million slave. It exists. Oh, boy. So anyway, he says there's a different level of ownership in the college level fields over the athletes. Imagine kids who play for Alabama kneeling. I mean, there'd be a riot. Could you imagine those rednecks in Alabama? Oh, yeah. Because we saw it last year, didn't we? Like how quick they're able. Them kids went undefeated. Did they go undefeated last year up until the last game? They lost the national championship in the waning seconds of the game. And there's still there are pictures and video of this online. They got off the bus back in Tuscaloosa. It was a ghost town. No one came out to support them kids. Because it's all good when your black ass is winning ball games. But when it's not, we got something better to do. We got corn to shuck. Yeah. So imagine them kids kneeling or sitting down for the national anthem in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Stop the madness. You gotta stop it. Also, my man Dave Zirin. You guys remember Dave? He makes an appearance in this article, this USA Today article. And he says it quite plainly. Dave's a straight shooter, man. The ferment is there. But I think when NCAA football players protest about racism, he says the problem is they don't have a union. They don't have any protection. And I've said this for a long time. Like when these dudes get suspended, when AJ Green gets suspended, or when Todd Gurley gets suspended, or whomever gets suspended for Terrell Pryor for signing jerseys and getting money for jerseys, they just get suspended. Like there's no appeal process. There's no, my union can handle this and appeal and say what happened and what didn't happen. Nothing. It's just the kid just gets screwed. That's it. We said you can't have no damn money, so you can't have no damn money. Speaking of this Florida-Michigan game, I didn't even mention that. Florida-Michigan this weekend. 10 cats. 10 suspended from Florida. You know why? Because they were given money for, by the vis-a-vis their scholarships, they were given money, which apparently doesn't mean it was theirs to do what they wanted to do with it. So they were given money to purchase the things they needed for class, like books or whatever, right? Well, there was money left over. So with the money left over, they did what I would assume any of us would have done. They bought other things. And amongst those other things that they bought, I think they sold some of them to other students to get them some damn cash. Well, because they did that, they've been suspended for the Michigan game. Congratulations, NCAA. You've done it again. I mean, you've outdone yourself again this time. It's your money, but bring me back my change. I guess, I don't know, man. That whole model is so whack. And look, you're gonna love this part too. Yeah. Apparently Mark Emmert is taking his ass over to Tokyo so he can help them. He can help Japan start their version of the NCAA so that they can take advantage of their college athletes as well. So this article, foxsports.com, Japan is seeking to become one of the few countries outside the USA to establish an NCAA type governing body for college sports. Did not even know that was a thing in Japan till today. Not just right now, because I read this earlier. Mark Emmert says, when I was asked to come over here and talk about this, I jumped at the chance. I bet your ass did. Because I think it is a terrific opportunity and we want to help. So you don't want none of the proceeds. You don't want to kick back, dog. Come on, dog. Come on, Mark. Keep it real. You got a lot to kick it, dog. He says, we'd like to be a part of this because we value sports as a part of education. Yeah. See, that's what I think about when I think about the NCAA hoes. Education. Riding on the back of sports. We're going to all be watching that Florida State Alabama game like, man, it's a bunch of academic All-Americans out there, boy. Future doctors, you know what I mean? Lawyers out in that piece. No. Says no one ever. You know what I mean? We'll be sitting talking about, man, ain't no way that dude gonna make it to the NFL doing that kind of crap. That's what we talking about. Yeah, it's minor league football. Damn education. Like, of course, there's some kids that's graduating and doing their thing and getting legitimate degrees, but the numbers, they don't bear it out where it's the majority. He goes on to say, quote, the way the NCAA works is we generate revenue off only those 90 tournaments. We don't have anything else other than those 90 tournaments that we put on television and sell tickets for. Yeah, in some kind of way, you're still $1 billion nonprofit. So those 90 tournaments, they kicking in pretty good. You know what I'm saying? For it to only be 90. God, these dudes are such scum of the earth, man. They're such terrible human beings. And to feel like that's a thing. And because they know these players, man, they're not going to do anything about it. They're walking around as human billboards for shoe companies and apparel companies. These apparel companies pumping major dollars into these coaches' pockets. And these players can't get none of it. I don't know, man. But whatever, man. That's America, man. I mean, I don't know why for whatever reason, I sound surprised every time I talk about this, but I'm really not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not at all. Wrapping up here, a couple of NBA stories, man. This trade, as of this show, as of right now, I don't know what's happened or if anything's happened, but this Isaiah Thomas trade, Kyrie Irving thing still hasn't gone down. You know what I mean? And ain't no going back on this, man. Isaiah can't go back to Boston. Kyrie can't go back to Cleveland. Like, whatever's going to happen need to happen. It's to the point now where other teams are like, wait, it ain't over? So the Bucks is like, all right, let us get in here. The Milwaukee Bucks. I'm looking for the details of this trade. So the Bucks want to throw in Malcolm Brogdon, kid that won the Rookie of the Year, Chris Middleton, and their little middle of the round, first round pick. Man, might as well be a second. I mean, like you can't go, if you're the Cleveland Cavs or if you're the Bucks, you can't be like, well, our first round pick, I mean, it's the same. It's still a first round pick. No, they already got one from Brooklyn that's unprotected, and Brooklyn's going to suck balls. Yeah, you got to come with better than that, I feel like. Unless, like I say, the Cavs just run into a situation where everything is so broken, they can't take Kyrie back. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow at noon, I think is the deadline. The deadline was initially today, I think at 4. And I think they pushed it again to tomorrow at noon. Because, look, man, Isaiah's like, I'm not broken. I'm not damaged goods. But I think it's just one of them skeevy things that the Cavs are trying to pull. Like, they know the situation. They've evaluated him. And now they're trying to say, well, it's worse than we thought. He's going to miss more time, so we need more compensation. And Danny Ainge is like, go straight to hell. No. You're not getting now one of these young boys, Tatum and these cats, or Jaylen Brown. You're not getting now one of them. And you're not getting another one of these first-round picks. Maybe we'll drop you a second just to make you shut the hell up. But you're not getting no first-rounder. You might as well get that off your mind right now. So we'll see where it happens. Like, just as someone who loves calamity, I want the whole thing to fall apart. I want everything to just crash and burn. So, like, all the jersey burning, the Kyrie Irving night, all that stuff means nothing. And everyone has to start from scratch. And even more so, I want them to have to play on the teams next year. These teams that have already traded them, I want Kyrie to have to play for the Cavs next year. And just be a big boy and be a professional. And I want IT to have to play for the damn Celtics and just watch this ridiculously uncomfortable situation play out for an entire year, or at least until the trade deadline, to the next trade deadline, which at that point, why would you make that deal then? You already playing ball. You already headed towards the playoffs, both teams. So why would you make the deal then? You got to make it now, off season. Lastly, speaking of making deals, this ain't even really about making deals. It's about Kevin Durant just ishing on Under Armour and really doing it too. The stock went down after my man crushed him. Shout out to KD, man. Mr. I don't give a F. Like, last couple of years, man, KD just say what he wants to. Shout out to him for that, because it's not ignorant stuff. Like, listen to what he said about Under Armour in comparison to Nike. They was asking him about, kids signing at the University of Maryland, right? Obviously, he's a Maryland kid, but he went to Texas. He says the reason being because he just wanted to get out of town. And I can totally respect that. That's why I didn't stay in town to go to school. I had to get the hell away. You know what I mean? KD says, quote, I think a lot of kids, to be honest, they don't choose Maryland unless they play in like an underarm system coming up, like an AAU type situation. He goes on to say shoe companies have a real big influence on where these kids go. Nobody wants to play in Under Armour. I'm sorry. The top kids, because they all play Nike, end quote. Damn. And you know how I know this is real deal, Holyfield? I saw a list of, and this is going to surprise, some of this is going to surprise you though. I saw a list of the sneakers that the top NBA prospects were wearing to their workouts before the draft. And the shoe that got the most love, not the LeBrons, not the KDs, not the Jordans or Kobe's, Paul George's sneaker had overwhelmingly the most kids working out in his sneaker. And I was like, I'm not a sneakerhead, so I don't know what the Paul George sneaker is, but apparently kids love them. The kids that were working out, going to the league, they love the Paul George sneaker. Go figure, right? And then after KD says this, the stock, Under Armour stock drops. How does that work? Like, this is why, man, I don't mess with no stock market. I got some stock, but it ain't nothing where I play the stock market. It's just stuff that's been bought. You know what I mean? So then he got asked about Steph Curry, obviously, because Steph Curry is Under Armour's main guy. Durant said he hadn't talked to him about it. But come on, man. And then he says, but come on, man. Everybody knows that. Nobody wants to play in Under Armour shoes. They just don't want to say nothing. Damn, cuz, that's your man, though. Yeah, man, golly. Shout out to KD, man. Shout out to the guy keeping it real, man. See, Big L said he never seen them. Maybe, you know what, Big L? Maybe they just hooping shoes. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they just good, good on your feet and good on your knees, whatever, for hooping. Because I can't recall someone ever like, man, I got to get them new Paul Georges, B. Nah, no one ever has said that. But yeah, this list, and it had a bunch of players, all the top prospects, man. And I just kept seeing the Paul George, Nike Paul George, Nike Paul George, Nike Paul George. And I'm like, what the hell is up with this shoe? Anyway, man, that's going to do it for the Hump Day edition of the One Mike with Big Mike show. Don't forget, man, the people in Houston still need your help, man, dealing with Hurricane Harvey, man. So if you got something, man, you got something that you want to give, you can check out JJ Watt's situation. He's up to $6 million, or you can go straight to the American Red Cross, 1-800-RED Cross, or text Harvey, Harvey to 90999. Just get that $10. They'll just throw it on your phone bill, man, and it'll be that easy, man. You'll be doing your part. You know what I mean? All right, so we'll be back Friday. I'm not sure, man. I got some stuff to handle with the old lady, some personal stuff. I'm trying to come back and do this thing on Friday, but I'll keep you guys posted. Don't forget, the show will be available on demand. Spreaker app, tune in, OneMikeWithBigMike.com, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and of course YouTube. The video will be up on Facebook at the number one MIC, WITHBIGMIKE. Use that same handle to follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well. That's going to do it, man. You guys have a good one. I am No Dose, Big L. Appreciate you guys holding me down, man. And don't forget, all you need is one mic.